This is church commentary. This is where faith meets the issues of our time. Welcome to church commentary. I am Father Takyia Joachim, and this week, on the 28th of October, on the Jubilee for Education, Pope Leo XIV has gifted the church and the world with a new Apostolic Letter titled Drawing New Maps of Hope. It comes on a very special occasion, the 60th anniversary of Gravissimum Educationis, the Second Vatican Council's declaration on the importance of education. This is more than just an anniversary message. It is a bold, forward-looking reflection on the future of Christian education, human formation, and the digital age. And it's calling all of us, parents, teachers, young people, and pastors, to rediscover the deep connection between faith and knowledge, education and hope, education and evangelization. Now you may be wondering, what exactly is an apostolic letter? You remember in our previous church commentary, we looked at the first apostolic exhortation of the Holy Father, and today we are looking at his first apostolic letter. In the Catholic Church, the apostolic letter, or lettera apostolica, is an official communication written personally by the Pope, often addressed to the whole church or to a particular group. It's not as long or as doctrinal as an encyclical, but it carries deep pastoral and spiritual insight, often to mark a special event, an anniversary, or issue of great importance. So think of it as the Pope's personal reflection and direction for the church at a particular moment in history, and this one focusing on education. So why this letter now? Because on the 28th of October 2025, on the occasion of the Jubilee for Education, the Church also celebrated 60 years since the Second Vatican Council published Gravissimum Educationis, the Declaration on Christian Education. That historic document taught that education is not secondary to the mission of the Church, but it is at its heart the concrete way by which the gospel becomes culture. It affirms the right of every person to education, the dignity of the vocation of teachers, and the family's irreplaceable role as the first school of humanity. And as Pope Leo himself said, even though it's over 60 years, the statements and the pronouncements of Gravissimum Educationis is still valid today. And Pope Leo XIV, with his characteristic depth and vision, now takes that legacy and interprets it for today's world, an age of technology, age full of walls and inequalities, and a world of social fragmentation, and a world characterized by high development in technology, especially in artificial intelligence. And Pope is inviting us to draw new maps of hope. So what does Pope Leo actually says in this letter? There are 5 key takeaways that we at Church Commentary brings out. That education is evangelization. Pope Leo writes that education is not an accessory, but the very fabric of evangelization. Wherever the gospel becomes relationship and dialogue, it becomes education, forming minds and hearts in truth and charity. Secondly, the Pope talks about hope. The Pope writes that hope must be taught and lived. In a fragmented, digitalized world, he calls the church to rebuild constellations of education, communities of hope that resist fear and isolation, choosing creativity over cynicism. Thirdly, every human person is a story, not an algorithm. In words that challenge our times, he insists, a person is not a profile of competencies, nor an algorithm, but a face, a story, a vocation. So education must form the whole person, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and socially. Then fourth, faith and reason must work together. Echoing St. John Henry Newman, whom he declares co-patron of Catholic education, Pope Leo urges educators to seek truth with both heart and intellect, avoiding the sterile faith without reason or a cold reason without faith. And this echoes very much with the very pivot of new Areopagus media, where we want young people to think with their heart and believe with their minds. The digital world must serve humanity, not replace it. He reminds educators, Technology must serve the person, not substitute her. Artificial intelligence can enhance learning, but it can never teach love, imagination, or wonder. Those belong to the soul. Pope Leo closes with the moving exhortation that sums up the letter, that disarm your words, lift up your gaze, guard your heart. Education, he says, advances not through argument, but through gentleness, dialogue, and hope. This is truly a roadmap not only for schools, but for families, parishes, and every Christian community that forms the human person in faith and love. So I encourage you to find time and read this apostolic letter. It's just about 13 pages, not too long. It is not only for educators or theologians, but for everyone who believes that education can transform lives and heal the world. Because as Pope Leo reminds us, education is one of the highest expression of Christian charity, an act of love that shapes the future. So at New Areopagus Media, we will continue working with you, offering pastoral and journalistic reflection on the events shaping our faith, society, and life. And if you would like to stay updated on our latest church commentaries and podcasts and episodes and reflections, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and join the conversation on how faith can renew culture. I am Father Takyia Joachim. Let's keep drawing new maps of hope together.